Hello, the Ark Minister here.
Hello, this is Connor Temple. Is anybody receiving me over?
Welcome to the first episode of the Great Primeval Show. For those who don't know, Primeval is a British show that ran from 2007 to 2011 with a Canadian spin-off in 2012/13. The series follows a secret government research team who are tasked with investigating doorways through time and space called anomalies, and they have to combat dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures, with the occasional future creature running rampant in the present. There's still a lot of people online and YouTube channels who review Primeval and make lots of appreciation posts. Primeval Legacy, the Primeval site, Adaphosaurus are just a few that I can name. There are so many more. My hopes for this channel is to bring everyone together and not just to review the show, but to talk specifics, theories, behind the scenes, and reviewing the characters and creatures. And for our first episode, our guests are some of my good friends. Could you please introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm HodgePodge. You may have seen some of my reviews on YouTube. I review dinosaur models, and I've also reviewed a few of the Primeval toys. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yep. Thank you for joining.
Hello, I'm Kathi from Germany, and I don't do anything that important, but I enjoy the show very much, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to Kathi about Primeval. Right, shall we jump straight in then?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, our first topic
All right, then you explain it.
is the Gorgonopsid from Series 1, Episode 1, the same Gorgonopsid which turns up in Episode 6 of the same series. Yes, back in 2007, this was one of the first theories that was out there, apart from...
Where's Claudia Brown?
But we'll come back to that another day. Obviously, some people believe that the Gorgonopsid that got killed in the Forest of Dean had previously rescued the team in the Permian from the future predator. And this is because the model for the CGI was identical, which you can see on the teeth. The left canine is slightly chipped on both Gorgonopsids, and this is probably why a lot of people think it's the same Gorgonopsid. Obviously, they've just reused the exact same model, which you can also see they use in Connor Temple's database, uses the exact same model again.
I mean, I get why there's like production constraints and stuff, and I imagine making 3D models is not easy, but I guess it does make sense to look at it and be like, well, it's the same model, so it must be the same animal. But other than that, there's not really much evidence to suggest it's the same one.
And there is one big thing which differentiates the two Gorgs. In Episode 6, during its fight with the Predator, it gets stabbed in the left eye by the Predator's
true,
claws.
it does.
Yeah.
And it's clearly lost its eye and it's bleeding out its eye. And yet, later on in the Permian timeline, but previously in the present day, the Gorgonopsid in the Forest of Dean has both its eyes.
You could argue it's a different timeline at all, but no.
Yes, well, you could argue that.
Well,
you could.
With the timeline change, yeah.
It was probably Claudia's fault or something. I don't know how she caused it.
Yes. Blame Claudia.
True, she did. Oh my god, this was a conspiracy theory all along.
Oh, we've changed everything now.
Oh no.
We've gone from explained to theory.
Yeah, it did. Oh my god, this changes everything.
Foreshadowing.
I suppose you could consider it either way, but that is my opinion that they're both different creatures.
Yeah, I'd also point out that, like, in Episode 1, when they go back to the Permian, you see a herd of Scutosaurus, and all those models are also identical, aside from being like slightly different sizes.
Yes.
So it's like, and yet you can clearly tell that they're not all the exact same Scutosaurus. So it's like, why would you assume that exact same
Maybe that-
Gorgonopsid?
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to topic 2.
What you have here is an interesting theory, but one mostly based on guesswork.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, it's a good quote. Right, our theory this week is, where did the Megopterans come from? Now, the Megopterans were in Series 3, and they were large ant/wasp-like
They came
insectoids.
from a nightmare.
Yes, okay. Right, it's all solved then. It came from Kathy's worst nightmare.
I knew it.
Yes, but in the show, the future time period that they appear to be in only appears to be a few decades or a few centuries past the present day. So it probably couldn't have evolved that quickly. So what's your theory on how they turned up?
I mean, I guess there is. I guess with the show as a whole, you do always have the excuse of like, well, that might not be their native time. Maybe they came through another anomaly into the fairly recent future where the predators live, but
Yep.
they could
like
also
that.
be man-made. But it
I-
kind of feels like a cheap excuse, like,
Yeah.
oh well, they just came through another anomaly.
Yes, that is a theory that I've latched onto over the years. It came off a DeviantArt post with a future timeline for Primeval, and they've suggested that the Megopterans came from much further in the future back to this near future time period, and that's how they could have turned up. Or I have the more popular theory, but what were you thinking, Kathy?
I have no idea, actually.
All right, thank you for your contributions. All right, well, probably the main theory is, since the Series 3 future predators were apparently cloned or genetically engineered,
All right.
the most popular theory is that the Megopterans were also created and genetically engineered.
I've just thought it would be maybe if they were created, maybe they were designed to kind of keep the predators in check,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
because we see them fighting in well, whenever we see them, pretty much.
Yeah, because we got told the predators quickly overthrew humanity, but yeah, it could have been they thought, oh, we've created one super weapon, let's make another one to fight fire with fire.
It's
That's
like in
always a good idea.
it's like in Godzilla, where they're like, well, we'll just make another monster to keep him busy.
Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh my
Mecha
god, that is
Megopteran.
it. That is
Mecha
it.
Megopteran.
The Megopterans are Mecha Godzilla. I knew it.
Yep, King Rexy will be happy.
Shouts out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out to King Rexy, by the way.
Yeah, one of the many Primeval fans online who still talk and post about Primeval. Hopefully we can get him on one day. Right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, we got topic 3.
Who could we give the camera to this time who could get us behind the scenes, get us access to things? When we couldn't get him, we got you.
All right, this time we're going to talk about production in Series 2, Episode 1. Now, there's several deleted scenes / cut scenes, but the one I'm going to talk about today, you'll remember at the end of that episode, Nick Cutter goes to the Cretaceous after recently losing Claudia Brown, and he's going to set out and look for somehow find a way to restore the timeline and get her back. Now, we can all agree that that's what Cutter would do. Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Well, this isn't actually the original scene as written. The original scene, as revealed in the audio commentary with Tim Haynes and Adrian Hodge, co-creators, and Jamie Payne, the director. The original scene was Nick Cutter went to the Cretaceous period and he was just going to walk out into the desert to die. before Stephen convinced him otherwise.
I remember this now.
Yeah. So it's very interesting and almost out of character.
Wasn't it Douglas Henshaw himself was like, I don't think this
That is
what he
correct,
would
yeah.
do.
That's
I
exactly
think,
what happened. At some
Yeah, I
point during
think-
the production, he said, hang on, that's not in line with my stubborn Scottish character.
Do that.
Yeah, I think good on him, because I feel like that would have stuck out a bit,
Yeah.
especially considering that was the start of series 2, and I feel like fans watching that would have been like, whoa, what? This is not
Yeah,
the
this
character
got dark. Yeah.
This is not the character we know from the first series, which is ironic because it's one of only 2 characters that carried over from series 1. But the details.
And what's interesting is a lot of the lines that Stephen says to Nick appear to be unchanged, because he goes in
Oh yeah,
and he says to Nick, like, oh, why would you want to die out here in this godforsaken place?
godforsaken place.
Yeah.
Huh. But that still sounds like something Stephen would just say.
And then it ends with him saying, when he's convincing Cutter to come back, he says, all you know is what's happening right now, which I feel was originally in there, and that hasn't been changed, but it still worked in the altered scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Anything, Kathy?
No, I agree with you guys.
Right, so we'll move on to topic 4, where we'll be ranking a character and a creature.
You'll be a highly strung and temperamental team of amateurs who just happen to be brilliant at what they do.
Hey.
Right, so I put a poll up on my Twitter account a few days ago, ranking Sarah Page. Now, I didn't get as many votes as I wanted, but I got 15 votes, and we've got 20% voted for amazing, 60% voted for good, 6.7% voted meh, and 13.3% voted forgettable.
Ben created fake accounts.
Now, tallying all this up, that gives Sarah Page 72% out of 100, and putting it on our ranking list, our very first on the list, she's in first place.
Woo!
Sarah Page hype.
Shocking.
Right, I'll just go over a quick backstory for her, and then we'll just say our thoughts about her. Dr. Sarah Page was an Egyptologist. She went on excavations all over the world, but then at some point started lecturing school children at the British Museum because she wasn't very good at taking orders. Then, when studying the sun cage at the museum, an anomaly opened up in there, which brought the ARC team there, and with her helping defeat, quote unquote, defeat the Prestigianthus, she then joined the team. What do you think of this character?
I
I'll
think
let
she
you go
was
first,
great.
Kathy.
Yeah.
I interrupted you. God damn it.
Okay.
Okay, right.
We
Do you want to?
encourage, we encourage interruptions.
I was going to say, do you want to? You can cut this bit if you want. Kathy, you go first. I'm sorry, I won't interrupt you anymore.
It's fine. I don't know. Okay, I think she was great and had more potential, and they killed her off too soon. Oh well,
Yes.
the actress didn't want to. Wait, she was pregnant, right?
But what happened
at the start of
series 4 was she didn't want to go to Ireland for filming because she wanted to stay with her family and her young children. And instead of writing her out, they wrote her off and killed her.
At the end of series 3.
They should have kept her story open. So
I do agree with what you said. She had quite a bit of potential. And for the first half of series 3, she was almost a background character because she was brought in as a replacement for Jenny. And then when Jenny left halfway through the series, then that's when they actually brought Sarah in as a main character. So,
and then just like a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff in series 3, it just kind of disappeared into the void.
Yeah, I think they tried to set her up with Becker. Like they had potential.
yes, I saw that as well. I saw the potential with Becker as well, but that sort of got dropped.
He was quite sad. mean, yeah, you would be sad, but like, he left the arc and all.
Yeah. So
That's another story.
yeah, so Sarah's had some impact on the other characters.
Yeah.
What about personality? How did she mesh with the rest of the team? And
She kind of had chemistry with everyone, as in they got along quite well.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I like the. I think he's hot in a "Don't come near me, I'm emotionally toxic" kind of way. Or is that the quote?
Yeah.
I think that he is pretty hot in an emotionally toxic, don't come near me, I'm a romantic disaster kind of way.
And like Abby and her poking fun at each other was also quite fun.
Yes. So yeah, that's interesting because the first few series, like not every character, like Abby and Connor, like talk to every single other character. But now that you said that, Sarah actually talked and interacted with every character.
Yeah, Jenny
Yeah.
even opened up to her.
Yet she was with Connor in the first episode. She was with Nick in the second episode. Talking to Jenny in the third episode. Not much in episode 4, but then she talks with Abby quite a bit.
Danny and her
then-
had a rough start, but I mean, Danny had a rough start with everyone.
It did with everyone.
They
Yeah.
got along.
Yeah, she talked with Danny later on and Becca in the final episode. So yeah, she was, despite her slow start, she got round quite a bit, and it would have been interesting to see what her plan was at the end.
Sorry, it's just that wording.
Out of context, sorry. Yeah, so it would have been interesting to find out what her plan was at the end of series 3.
Yeah, especially because she said, I have an idea, and like, yeah, it was probably, I don't think it was the idea that they should go through the anomaly.
Yeah, what
everything
ended up happening
That
was
was the only thing we saw. I don't know.
Yeah.
for those who don't know, what happened to Sarah was she and Becca went into the future to look for Abby, Connor, and Danny, and at some point a future predator got her, and that's how she died. But that's mostly off screen and only implied in 2 episodes. Well, 1 episode and 1 webisode.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was in the webisodes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's even no conclusion, nothing. We
I
just
feel like a lot of people haven't actually seen the webisodes, but they're quite important.
Yeah, I'll put that in the links.
Sorry, Kathy, what did you say?
yeah, right. There was like no conclusion, and we were left with the open storyline. We were wondering what happened, and the only conclusion is are the web episodes.
Yeah, so I think they probably shouldn't have killed her off screen, just in case they could have got her back later.
Yeah.
Or for 1 episode, like they did with Jenny, Danny, and Duncan. But overall, we all say that she was above average.
Yeah. I think she was an interesting character that was gone too soon.
Well, all the Series 3 characters, except for Becca, left at the end of the series. So
You know, yeah. Huh. I guess I never really thought of that. Wow, I was right when I said a lot of the stuff from Series 3 just kind of disappears at the end.
yeah.
Except for Becca, though. He's
I have
eternal.
an
Like a
idea that's
tank.
bothering me. Oh, sorry.
Becca has
Uh,
superpower.
Oh, yes. Like a tank. Oh.
Exactly.
Give back
Sorry,
her
Kathy,
attack.
what were you saying?
That's a story for another video. I was gonna say the I have an idea is still bothering me, and both Farah will be, I guess.
I'm sure there's a fan fiction out there.
And if there isn't, Kathy, get on it.
Yeah, and I'll give Becker a tick. Anyways.
No, we'll get to that later. Right, we'll move on to our second ranking / reviewing.
This database contains constant and all non-extinct vertebrates.
Yeah, on my poll, I asked, how would you rank the Arthropleura?
There you go.
Can't read / speak.
Me neither. Never.
Right. So 8 of 17 votes, 5.9% said amazing, 64.7% said good, 23.5% said meh, and 5.9% said forgettable. And calculating all that up, the Arthropleura got 68% out of 100, which puts it into first place on our list.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Arthropleura, it's kind of like one of those creatures that I feel like I don't think it's that important or impressive, but when I really think about its context in its one appearance in that episode, well, technically it made a brief cameo in series 2, but in
Yes.
its
One
debut
main
episode in
appearance, yes.
series 1, it plays a pretty big role. It almost kills Stephen in the second episode of the show, and it also has a pretty brutal but really cool death scene.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I'd say it's one of the more underrated creatures.
Well, for those who don't know, the Arthropleura is a giant relative of centipedes and millipedes that lived in the Carboniferous period 300 million years ago. The primeval Arthropleura probably isn't much like the real life Arthropleura.
No,
Yeah, it's much bigger.
it's
Yeah,
yeah,
it seems to lack its armored plates on its back.
yeah,
It looks more like a modern centipede rather than
yeah,
the prehistoric insect. But a lot of primeval creatures do look different, but I think this design is quite interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's yes, quite aggressive and venomous, which I don't think has been proven, but it added an interesting layer to the story.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of its role in the episode's script, I guess the more sleek and athletic and aggressive approach they took with the Arthropleura, especially when you compare it to like the Walking With model, it does make sense. But yeah, it doesn't really look like an Arthropleura.
Yeah, well, at this point, they had the Walking With Monsters Arthropleura and the Prehistoric Park Arthropleura. So, yeah, to make this one radically different was probably better than having like a third time looking the exact same.
Kathy, I'm guessing you're not a huge fan of it because it's very bug-like.
Yeah, but I have to agree. It was still a good episode and still a good creature.
Yeah, well, this was almost one of the first major creature interactions the team had, because Stephen with the Gorgonopsid in episode 1 was like the only major fight scene, whereas here we've
Yeah.
got Stephen with the Arthropleura again, and Nick Cutter and Connor and Captain Ryan all facing it. So yeah, it was the first for the series. This being in series 1, episode 2.
Yeah, and Steven going to rescue Cutter and vice versa.
Yeah.
A relationship.
And I think the
this Arthropleura brought the team together because Connor was fired from the job that he didn't have yet. Yeah, that brought him back and brought all the team together.
And I think the spiders from that same episode also work really well as like a red herring for the Arthropleura that's the actual threat. I think that's also pretty cool.
Well, we have to note that you said earlier that the Arthropleura briefly appeared in Series 2 in the final 2 episodes. That's where it was captured by Oliver Leake's organisation and was kept in the creature prison with all the other captive animals there.
So that also implies that, at least in the new timeline, there was also a very similar anomaly incursion that occurred.
Yeah, well, one would have to assume it's the same anomaly, but in the new timeline, and
it's interesting how they kept
collected
the
another.
Arthropleura, but not the spiders.
And also, how did it survive because of the oxygen and all?
I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it adapted to the key conditions. I don't know. Excess oxygen in the creature prison. Maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they had a load of oxygen in there. Nobody's allowed to smoke in there.
Yeah, because the other creatures wouldn't be affected by extra oxygen, would they?
I doubt it.
And that would help the scorpions that are there as well.
Oh, true, yeah.
Well, we've come to the end of our first episode then.
Already? Wow.
All right, well, we can keep going if you want to, but...
That's fine, that's a good start.
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Okay, be sure to check out my Primeval Discord server or the Primeval fandom for all information on Primeval. I'm an admin on both sites. There's a watch party every Saturday at 3 p.m. UK time on Discord, and on the 6th of March, we'll be starting Series 1, Episode 1 again. Yeah. So, thank you for joining us, Hodge.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, and we'll put your YouTube links in the description.
Thank you.
And thank you, Kathi, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, viewers/listeners, how did you like this video? Should we go longer or shorter or more in depth next time? And be sure to vote for which character and creature you want us to rank and review next time. There will be a poll up on my Twitter account, which I'll add the links to. Okay, thank you very much for joining us in this first episode.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.